Welcome to the stream, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Oh boy, so we've got a rough start, really a crazy, insane start to the new year 2025. We're going to talk about that and take your calls. And joining us on the phone for the first time, I think, ever, is my wife and co-host of the Brian Craig Show podcast, Kathy. Hey, Kathy.
Hello.
Hey there. All right. So Kathy's joining us via telephone. And I got to tell you, Kathy, between New Orleans and what's happened at Trump Tower in Las Vegas with the Cybertruck, we're in really crazy town. And this Cybertruck incident at Trump Tower, what I find most unusual about it right now, because this happened hours and hours and hours ago, it has not once been mentioned all day long on Fox News. I haven't seen it on any television news, but I haven't been following all of them. But I have. It has not been on Fox News once, and I know things are still developing, and we don't know a whole lot about it. But I have no idea why they're not even covering it.
I know, it's really strange. That's why X is so important, because things get out that maybe the news doesn't want you to know at a certain time or ever, for whatever reason. And things, this is why the media is becoming obsolete, because things are on X like right after it happens, almost instantaneously now. And by the time it gets through the news and gets through their filters and their writers and this and that, it's like, oh yeah, we already know all this already. We've seen the video. I don't know how the video footage got released. It's like a city video of in front of Trump Tower.
Well, there's a few videos from Trump Tower. Okay, the initial
so maybe Trump. I'm wondering if Trump released them, because they might be his property, that might be his camera.
Well, the initial video I saw from the Trump Tower Cybertruck explosion was a couple, looked like they were in a hotel room in another Vegas hotel, and they saw the smoke. And then and then the footage that we're seeing of the actual explosion was taken from inside the lobby, and I'm assuming it's somebody's cell phone too, but then again, they actually caught the explosion, so maybe you're right, the footage from inside the lobby at Trump Tower, maybe it's Trump Tower security footage?
Yeah, I mean, what are the odds that, because the video I saw was like a fixed camera, and it wasn't somebody just walking by that just happened to see it. How would somebody know to film that at that exact moment unless they were, aware of what was happening? So the video I saw was from like a fixed camera monitoring that, and maybe it was one of his security cameras, and who knows, maybe he released it. I don't know, but the first thing I thought when I saw it was it looked like fireworks. It looked like sparkly, and I don't know. It just didn't look like a typical what I normally would see from an explosion. I don't know what happened, but it looked almost like fireworks going off.
Yeah, not only that, if you, with the, it does look like fireworks, and if you look at the footage of the Cybertruck explosion from inside the lobby at Trump Tower, you could hear the explosions, and it sounds like fireworks. So you actually, the one explosion you're talking about, that video's from outside. It looks like fireworks. And the other one from inside the lobby, you can actually hear them. It sounds like fireworks. And of course, if this were a normal day, because we had this god awful incident in New Orleans, if the New Orleans incident hadn't happened, I think the knee jerk thing would be, something happened with the batteries. But if you look at the footage of the Cybertruck, it's not from underneath. The explosion is from inside the truck, inside the cabin. Okay.
Well, yeah, exactly. It looks like it's inside, but I don't know. We don't know if somebody filled the truck with fireworks and they accidentally went off. I mean, accidents do happen, or if this was intentional. I think it's really strange that it's a Cybertruck parked right in front of Trump Tower. I mean, what are the odds? You know, it seems almost
Slim
like a message to me.
Yeah, especially after all the conflict that's been going on with all these attacks on Elon Musk. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. On the phone is my wife, Kathy, who I co-host my podcast with. And if you would like to call in, the number is toll-free no matter where you are watching, okay? So no matter where you're watching us, you can give us a call. The number is pinned inside the live chat, but I'll give it to you this one time. And then, as I said, if you'd like to call in, please do. The number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. Well, we know for a fact that the New Orleans is ISIS, all right? I know the guy was born and raised in Texas. He was a real estate agent. He was in the Army. But if you remember, Nidal Hassan, who was the Fort Hood shooter, was a major currently in the Army, all right? And he was, he was Al-Qaeda, and he did that. So just because someone has been in the United States Army doesn't mean they can't be a terrorist. And this guy had an ISIS flag. And what's being reported is there's 5, 6 others that they're looking for, that there's some kind of ISIS cell. I heard one report that said the first 2 people he killed were Israelis, Israeli citizens. But I don't know, still these things are all developing, so when things like this are just developing, things come out, you never know. That's why I'm not getting into all the specifics, because what do they say? The facts are changing, right, as time goes on, because new stuff's coming out. But no doubt,
well,
So if there's...
Go
ahead.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Well, regardless of the details, the news should be reporting it. I mean, it's an event. It happened in a Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower. Yeah. It's a couple weeks before the inauguration. It could be nothing. It could be something. I don't think anybody was hurt. I didn't see any people walking by, so that's good. It could have just been an accident. But regardless, I think it's worth reporting on and saying, we're going to keep an eye on it and watch it. But see, what you have going on now with people on social media, on X, is they have like internet sleuths. And you have people that do this with crime, with true crime, and you actually have citizens that are solving crimes. And you have that now in the news, where you have citizen reporters reporting things, uploading video, and making people aware of what's happening. And this is what the legacy media is, what they're battling, because it doesn't go through any filters. People just upload it, and boom, it's there for you to see for yourself. It's almost instant sometimes. And I even saw footage of what happened in New Orleans, which is awful, and a horrible thing that happened. And that's where people seem to be going to get the latest news at the quickest amount of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'd like to, if you want to call in, please do. And what are your theories on this? We know what happened to a certain extent in New Orleans already. This was Islamic terror. Yes. It was ISIS, okay? American ISIS in particular, with the main guy that they got. We don't know about the other ones. And it's so strange that the truck crossed the border from Mexico at Eagle Pass into the United States, even though he's a U.S. citizen. So that story, it just shows you how things develop, because first...
So wait. He rented the truck in Mexico, and then... He
rented the truck from, what's that app that it's kind of like the private ride-sharing car rental thing, Turo, is that what it's called? Where you rent, where you can rent out your own private vehicle. He rented it from that app, and they said that the truck, he rented it from a guy in Texas. The New Orleans... terrorist is from Texas. They said that truck went through Eagle Pass. That doesn't mean he was in it when it went through the Eagle Pass. It could have been the owner or another renter of the truck. I don't know. But the first thought was, okay, here's an illegal alien. And then, the way the media operates, because I've been watching this and following this all day, and I waited till we got some more information before I did the live stream because, things are developing. And when they found out that the guy was not an illegal, was an American, and I'm watching the news on television, it's almost like they had a sense of relief, like, oh, thank God it was an American ISIS. It was so bizarre. And I've seen them do this before, but it was, I could almost hear them like, oh, thank the Lord, it's just it's an American terrorist. They're so weird in the media.
Well, terrorism is terrorism, and the guy, if he had an ISIS flag, you can be an American and still sympathize with those people, and doesn't mean anything. It just matters really to me the motivation and why it happened. Also, that people were hurt, which is horrible. But you don't have to be from a certain country to work for ISIS or sympathize with ISIS. You know what I mean? And there are people that do things on their own that like to be connected to a certain group. They might not officially be connected, but this guy was in the military, which I think is an awful thing. Is somebody that we trained, that served this country, and did this, and he's gone. So you can't really talk to him and try to understand. I'm sure it'll come out if he wrote something. They always look for that, but it's just a horrible thing to happen. And I don't understand why they didn't have better security in the French Quarter. That is a huge. It's a small area, but it's like a huge place where people go for New Year's and party and all this stuff. I don't know why they didn't have better security there, but people talk about how they want to ban guns and all this stuff. I mean, I know the guy had a gun, but he also killed people with his car, and that's scary to me. Somebody can just ram a car through a crowd, and you're just there minding your own business. Yeah. And isn't that what happened in Germany at that Christmas market? Didn't the same thing happen?
Yeah, and remember after
that was just last week. Is this the new way they're going to go after people now?
Yeah. And if we didn't have X, right? Think about that. If we didn't have X, would we even know about the Cybertruck explosion in front of Trump Tower, since the mainstream media haven't covered it?
Probably not.
I don't understand why. There's been times like when Fort Hood happened. That was Nidal Hassan, the Army major who shot up Fort Hood, killed a bunch of people. Right away, I mean, you knew by what happened, even though it was on the base, that it was some type of terrorism. And it took them 8 to 10 hours before they would say the name of the guy, because they knew who it was, and they held off as long as they could from saying that it was Al Qaeda. And go ahead. What were you saying?
Okay, so on X, this is where news comes out that would not normally get on the regular news. Raymond Arroyo, who works at EWTN, he's also on Laura Ingraham all the time. Yep. He's, the New Orleans chief of police. Have you seen her? She's like 80 years old. This old woman.
Yeah, she's an old hag.
Said that they were working on putting permanent blockades around the corridor. We had a plan, but the terrorists defeated it by driving around them on the sidewalk. I mean, this is what's frustrating to me. We live in a scary world where people are doing scary things, and you see this with schools. You see this where there's crowds. The police and the people there are not doing enough to protect people, and they are soft targets. And I don't understand why they think a barricade, that's something easily, you can go around it, drive through it, whatever. I mean, I don't understand this, why they're not protecting people more. It's crazy.
Yeah, and, the police chief in New Orleans isn't just an old lady. Her previous job she was fired from, and she sued for wrongful termination or something, got $1.5 million, $1.5 million settlement. All right, hold on here. We got to, figure out here where I'm also experimenting on my new phone system, okay? So Kathy is in place where Steve Kane would normally be.
Yes.
So I'm doing some conferencing the calls, so when I have Steve on from the studio here, I can conference him in with the calls.
I'm helping you practice here.
Yeah, exactly. I probably do a couple more.
Getting it together.
Probably do a couple more practices with Kathy over the weekend. And for those of you that listen to the podcast, that Kathy's on the phone here with me. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. All right, Kathy. Well, I'm going to make an attempt at conferencing a call. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll do this. And let's see here. And boom, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Joshua from Alabama.
Hey, Josh, you with us, Kathy?
I am.
Boom. It worked. That's awesome. This is our first conference call. What's up, Josh?
How's it going, everybody?
All right.
Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year, and it's unfortunate where we are nowadays. But,
no doubt.
ABC is reporting that there was a driver in that Cybertruck and 7 people were injured in the explosion.
Yeah, I said the driver. They reported the driver inside the truck was killed, and there were 6 people, I think, in the area, not inside the truck, that were injured. Is what I heard.
Oh, really? Wow.
Is that yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Josh.
Currently, this is probably the biggest threat that the United States going to suffer from. It's going to be this low-level stuff. So.
Well, what do you think happened here, Josh? I mean, we know what happened in New Orleans, right? It's developing. It's ISIS, Islamic. What's the story in Vegas? Would you guess?
I would guess that the Cybertruck was probably a rental also, and what a better way to have an explosion with a big old lithium battery that's inside of all these electric vehicles. So.
Yeah. All right. Take care, man. Appreciate the call. All right. So kind of got this.
It seems like, it might be a coordinated thing. It seems just a little weird coincidence. But it'll come out. The truth will come out on X. It might not come out in the news because they like to keep things from you and lie to you. But it'll come out on X, and it seems. I hope this isn't some coordinated attack. That they're doing here, and I hope things don't ramp up to the inauguration. And I really, that's what's making me nervous. That's coming up, and they know once Trump's in office, he's not going to play and put up with this nonsense. So, you know what I mean? It might be doing stuff for that reason. Yeah.
Well, when I was talking about how there was like a sense of relief in the media today when they found out that this guy in Vegas was not an illegal, that he was American. And when we had the Boston bombing, it was the same thing, right? Well, I remember when the Boston bombing happened, Shepard Smith was still on Fox in the afternoons. And I remember he wouldn't say it was terrorism. He said, I remember Shepard Smith so clear. Everybody knew what it was, right? We all knew what it was. And Shepard Smith said, well, a lot of people don't know this, but in Boston, the transformers aren't at the top of the power lines; they're at street level, and this very likely was, or it could have been a transformer explosion. Really, come on! And then we found out what it was right quick. And if you remember, with the Zarnev brothers were the terrorists in Boston, and they had a street camera photo, and they had a press conference, and they showed the picture, and they looked white, and I remember at the press conference, the media were so excited when the suspects in the Boston bombing, before they'd been identified and they just had the picture, were white. It's so weird how these liberals operate. They were so excited, and we found out they were white, but they were also Muslim, Islamic terrorism. And the suppression of the story on the Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas, that to me, the suppression of it means they're covering something up. They don't want us to know something about it, and it does look like fireworks. You can see it, you can hear it. I'm sure probably everybody by now that's watching this live stream has seen the Cybertruck explosion. In New Orleans, they keep saying that there were multiple explosive devices, right? But they haven't said what they were. I would like them to tell us what kind they were, because it's possible that it's the same type of explosive from the Cybertruck. If it's the same type of explosive as the Cybertruck, that's something we should know about, right?
Well, I'm rewatching that video of the Cybertruck, and I can see where there's people in the lobby.
Yeah.
And I did not see that before. So I see now where there are people. And there's no way this was not a planned thing. I mean, it's a Cybertruck. It's Elon's signature car in front of the main entrance of Trump Tower. So I don't know if they filled it with fireworks. We'll find out, and then lit a match. And like the call Joshua said, if there's like a lithium battery, that might make the things worse. But this was definitely not an accident. I mean, why would it be? It's just too much of a coincidence that it would be a Cybertruck parked in front of Trump Tower.
Now we're getting some development. If you're on hold, stand by. We're getting some developments out of New Orleans. Listen to this. This is breaking right now as we're speaking. Multiple police vehicles just sped away from the original New Orleans crime scene after a loud bang was heard down the street. This is being reported by CBS News. So things are getting really crazy. All right, let me take some of these calls. We'll try it again here. We'll go right there. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian Katz. This is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey,
Happy
Sean.
New Year.
Hey, Sean. Hey, Sean.
This morning, Brian, I tried calling. I think it's an experimental stage. What happened, and I felt bad. I'm like, I wanted to talk to you. I know you're working with the new system, and glad to hear from you today.
Well, thank you.
I've been following what's been happening on both sides of this thing with the truck, and there's everything that's happening. And this guy might be American, but then again, these people that are with these accomplices. I mean, again, how much help did this guy have from the outside? And, I mean, this is still the result of Biden's policies and Kamala's policies.
Yeah.
And, they want to tell us, this and that. But, if you look at this whole picture, this is on their watch. And I know how much they would love to blame Trump for this, but
this is the deal. Okay, this is the deal with everything. And by the way, you back with this, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, got you again. Yeah. Okay. This is the deal with everything. We've got the Democrats are still running things, so prepare for cover-up. This is cover-up time. I mean, that's just what you're going to get. You're going to get cover-up time with all of this. I mean, why, the thing about the Cybertruck, the fact that there's next to zero reporting on this outside of social media, that's very suspicious with this other incident going on in New Orleans.
It's barely anything.
Yeah.
Thank God we have X. Thank God we have True Social.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump knew what he was doing. He could construct the True Social because he needed the alternative to come in. And it's a beautiful thing that Elon Musk has teamed up with him. And we have to stay focused on getting this guy to the finish line, January 20th. We have so many distractions right now. And the left, if the right's going a little going nuts, can you imagine what's happening on the left right now?
Oh my goodness!
With everything, because they're going insane. Anything that they can do. I mean, for example, look what just. And I was going to mention this morning. Jimmy Carter just passed away. Now, how long do you think maybe he had been passed before they got this out? And he's now for 30 days they're gonna have the flag half-staff, and that's right during the inauguration.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. It's strange, and they're doing this. The timing of this.
I know, but they're really it's a little much, because if you remember during Trump's first inauguration, the Capitol was going through this refurbishment and it had all that scaffolding, and they wanted to take down all the scaffolding. So remember, so it would look pretty, and Trump says that's going to cost millions of dollars. No, leave it up. And, so they were willing to spend millions of dollars, but they want the flags that have staff on the inauguration because it's a day of mourning for America with Trump's inauguration. That's what the message they're sending. These are sick people on the left. They're not normal. Yeah. So do you think that the Cybertruck is just a coincidence, or do you think it's more terrorism?
Well, I mean, it's just the timing of these things. I mean, we're on the first day of the new year. I mean, look at that. We're at the very first day of the new year. It's going to be a ride, and we have 19 days left. I want to believe that it's not. These vehicles can be a little glitchy and stuff. I happen to be right outside
It was not. It was not the vehicle itself. It was not the batteries. There was definitely something with some type of improvised explosive device or the fireworks. It was, Elon Musk has been the center of controversy for the last week at a whole new level, right? We've been talking about it, and then this, and I've never heard. We've heard of Teslas having incidents with the batteries after flooding and things like that. This is the first incident I've heard with an internal explosion in a Cybertruck. And in front of Trump Tower, what are the odds of that just being a coincidence? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to divide the two guys up right now, too. And, and you see that, and that's not, that's failing because, Donald Trump stands right by him. And, of course, they're trying to do that. And having his vehicle outside of his building, there's definitely, I think this is something, I think there's a little something behind it. Exactly what?
Well, listen, I apprate the call, man. Take care. Have a good day. We'll all right, we'll talk next time.
Take care. Happy New Year.
All right. Okay. So then we'll, okay. All right. Okay. So this seems to be working pretty good, Kathy. You seem to have this kind of down somewhat. All right.
Yeah. The more you do it, it'll get figured out pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, exactly. This obviously...
It's a new system. You just got to, you know what I mean? It's just a new system. It'll take a few days.
That's all. Got to get used to it. All right, let's go. Let's take some more calls. And if you're wondering, this is my wife, Kathy, that's on the line that I co-host the Brian Craig Show podcast with. And if you're new, subscribe. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Kathy. This whole thing with the Cybertruck and the other thing, they both sound like suicide bombings. This guy didn't mean that the guy in the Cybertruck who's driving the Cybertruck didn't want to get caught, so he blew himself up, right?
They don't know.
So
yeah,
that's what it sounds like to me. And look, a lot of this stuff, these Cybertrucks aren't cheap. All right, they're not cheap. So
well, this is what blows my mind. Okay, like as an example, this ISIS attack in New Orleans. Not only do we know everything about the guy, I mean, I've even seen his personal video for his real estate business. Right? We know that he rented the truck from the Turo app. We know all this stuff about the truck where he, and all this stuff. This Cybertruck, we don't know anything. We don't know who was in it. We don't know if the person that was in it owned it. We don't know if they rented it. We know nothing. And it's been hours and hours and hours. And it's gone so long without any information. If they come out with anything and say, oh, it's just they had some fireworks for New Year's they didn't use and had an accident, who's going to believe that? Right? After so long of not reporting anything.
Right. And just remember this, remember one of the things that happened in 2020 or 2021 was that I believe in Waukesha, Wisconsin, there was this guy that plowed into a Christmas parade.
Yeah, after the Rittenhouse verdict.
After the Rittenhouse verdict, right? So, and he plowed. He used the car. Cars can be weapons. Can be weapons as well.
That's right. That's true.
So when you got this stuff going on, and look, the Democrats have said they want to crank up all the riots like they had in 2020, the protests.
Maybe so. Hey, Mike, I appreciate the call. All right, you made some good points. Thanks so much. It's always good to hear from Mike in Louisiana. All right, you back with us, Kath?
I am. It's Trump. The thing that happened at Trump Tower? It's amazing because they had video from inside.
Yeah.
And there's no damage at all. He has very well made buildings. The glass didn't break and nothing. I mean, the lobby looks totally pristine from what I saw. And you see the truck on fire on the outside, and I'm sorry people were hurt, but they said they had minor injuries. So
well, the Cybertrucks have bulletproof glass on them. The windows are bulletproof glass.
Exactly. So that's well, the glass on the truck looks like it's been blown out, but that might have contained it more than if they used a regular box truck, like Timothy McVeigh might have used.
Mm-hmm.
But Trump, this happened in front of Trump's building. He will find out what happened. He will get to the bottom of that. I have no doubt that he will figure out who that truck belonged to And if he doesn't do it now, when he's president, when Daddy Trump is home, he'll get to the bottom of all this nonsense.
That's right. And Elon's got to want to know. Elon has to have some private security people working with him for him. He must have, like, with everything he has going on.
This could have just been a rogue. There's a lot of crazy people out there sending a message that didn't intend on hurting anybody but himself, and just sending a message. You don't know what people's. I'm not trying to dismiss it, but there are a lot of crazy people that do crazy things, or it could be connected. But I saw the video of the guy going through the crowd in New Orleans, and he was driving like a bat out of hell. I mean, he was going like 80 miles an hour, and it makes me very nervous to be out in public, especially at main events. And I was watching live streams of New York last night for the New Year's, and it was pouring rain. But there were police everywhere. They had streets blocked off. They had the same kind of barricades all over, and they had police cars in front of those barricades. It was much better protected. This kind of thing, when you have an area like the French Quarter, which is a well-known place where people go to gather and party, or Times Square, or downtown anywhere, the police should have done a better job protecting the people there. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not, you know what I mean? They just left them very vulnerable.
Well, Kathy, we see that you see the New Orleans police chief is this liberal old hag, and the FBI agent came in. Yep. She has a ring in her nose. What kind of? They lowered the standards over there at the FBI.
Well, this is what you get when you have DEI hires.
Didn't earn it.
This is what you get. People that are not qualified, and they're hired because of their gender or skin color instead of their qualifications. They're canceling men. And this is what happens when you have a bunch of woke liberal women running the show. They don't know what the hell's going on, and I'm sorry, but they're not qualified to handle this kind of stuff.
All right, well, let's take some more calls, and let's go here. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
All right. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Dustin from Mississippi.
Dustin in Mississippi. What's up?
Well, I wish today was a bit of a better day to start the new year, but
no kidding.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm calling mainly about the Cybertruck explosion at the Trump Hotel.
Yeah, please.
I am 95% sure that was a bomb, specifically because of how the Cybertruck is designed. Now, you can pull up how it's built and broken down in the manual, or you can just listen to how Elon, I remember, like last year, Elon Musk was asked this very question of what happens if the battery catches fire, will it explode?
Yeah.
And almost like all the other Tesla batteries, they do not just kaboom. They typically catch on fire, and it's basically like a wildfire spreads from underneath.
Well, you've been following the Cybertruck. It looks and sounds like fireworks were in there.
Well, maybe, but I don't ever remember seeing a bunch of passive fireworks cause an explosion of that magnitude. Typically,
in fact,
it's a few small explosions and then the big one.
If you look on X right now, it's so interesting. Somebody put a side-by-side in front of a Tesla catching on fire in somebody's garage with this thing. And you're right. The Teslas, they'll catch on fire from underneath and burn that way, but they don't explode.
Yeah.
This was detonated. This was a detonation. That you can tell when you see the side-by-side. And there might have been fireworks in the truck and other things. Maybe they just put whatever they could get their hands on.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like one boom detonation. You know what I mean? It wasn't a slow burn or a slow fire. I think if it was just fireworks, you would have seen inside things going off a little bit at a time, and then boom. This was like an instantaneous, it looked like a detonation. Like somebody pushed a button and boom.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it looks like. And but luckily, it wasn't in a crowd. To me, this seems more like maybe a suicide bomber sending a message more than anything, that he didn't intend on hurting others. I could be wrong, but it was more like a warning, or you know what I'm saying, of things to come, or be careful, watch your back. But yeah, if you see on X somebody put the two together, you can see how a Tesla catches fire and how it's different. It does not combust. It doesn't this was looked like a detonation.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Benny Johnson's post because I saw that too before I called because I was just scrolling while waiting.
Yeah.
Because mainly
I'll send that to you, Brian, so you can see that.
Mm-hmm. I've seen
it.
The
battery is not made in a single spot. It actually covers the entire bottom half of the Cybertruck, so it's not in one spot or the other.
Well, now ABC News is now reporting. Yeah, hold on one second, caller. ABC News is now reporting that the Cybertruck explosion in Vegas is being investigated as terrorism. So that's from ABC News. Yeah, they know something.
So you know you could technically call this now. You can call this an IED.
Yeah.
Because this was an improvised explosive device, and you could call it what we call them in the Middle East. You can call them car bombs.
Yeah.
Because that's what the terrorists
and
used to
you know the fireworks. If there were fireworks in there, which we don't know, we hear some sounds, we see some lights. That could have just been for some added effect, too. For fear. And maybe whoever did it.
Who knows? Or it could have been that camera angle, and that might have been just how they looked from that camera angle too.
Yeah.
Listen, gunpowder is gunpowder, no matter where it's from.
Right.
If they just needed some more boom, there's fireworks everywhere. Just buy a bunch of fireworks, chuck them in the back, and preferably get some big boys with your initial.
Well, we don't need to give recipes out. Hey, listen, but thanks for the call. All right, I appreciate it. Good call. If you'd like to call in, please do. The toll-free number is pinned in the live chat on YouTube, and it's a toll-free call no matter where you are watching. It's 888-465-2631. This Cybertruck, now that they're investigating it as terrorism, finally, okay, so there's something they know that we don't yet know that has them investigating it as terrorism. They really hate Elon Musk. I mean, this was a hardcore statement about the relationship between Elon Musk and President Trump.
Yeah, that to me is whoever did this is targeting both of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Not just Trump. They're targeting Trump and Elon, and like I said, it's either a warning, a message, symbolic, but it's definitely about that relationship between the two of them, that they see that as a real threat, as a problem.
This is insane, and I hope we've had tomorrow will be a week since this MAGA war thing began. I hope that with this Cybertruck explosion, that the MAGA division on Elon Musk will end, right, Kathy? I mean, after this incident, we need to circle the wagons here, and Bannon and the rest need to get back on the Trump train with Elon.
I just can't believe the age of this chief of police.
Yeah, 99 years old.
She's like 80 years old. I'm sorry. Why is this woman running the police department of a major U.S.
And
city?
Does she look like she's ever made like a major arrest? I mean, look at her. She's so frail. She's like Biden almost.
It said that there's an article Tim Young posted. It was in the news in August last year. New Orleans police chief Ann Kirkpatrick strikes 2 pedestrians with her vehicle, injuring 1.
Yeah, I saw that.
So she's like a menace to society.
She ran people over.
Her car.
She ran people over. Oh my
goodness!
And they didn't remove her from duty. And she's got a gun and a police force. Yeah, that's who's in charge of your security.
Liberals are stupid people. What can I tell you? They're idiots.
That's the DEI.
That's
hires. Right. I mean, this.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Not that if they had a competent police chief, this would not have happened, but at least they'd have a fair chance. The re-election of President Trump is the end of woke. And one of the biggest things, not the biggest, but one of the biggest things with woke is the DEI, the didn't earn it hires, and we're seeing a lot of that. But I do hope that all of this negativity towards Elon Musk stops now with this incident, at least until we know what's going on. You know, I'm a big fan of Elon Musk. I love Elon Musk. But you know what I'm talking about with the MAGA wars.
That whole thing with the visas was dumb. And I think you have people that are very jealous that they're not in the inner circle. They're very jealous of Elon. They want to divide the two. And I think that was driving a lot of that narrative. I mean, I really just don't care about that topic at all. I think most people, it's not at the top of their list here. And Trump pretty much squashed it. They asked him about it at the Mar-a-Lago New Year's Eve party. And he pretty much said, you know, I've always been in favor of it. Boom, end of discussion. You know, so people on the left and the right are trying to divide this two. They're very jealous of Elon. He was sitting right next to Trump.
Whoever did it is trying. Whoever did it,
they're best friends. Sorry.
That's right. All right, let me see here. Let's put some other people through here. All right, you back with us, Kath? All right, let me give it a go. All right, no, okay, all right, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. You know, the thing with the Cybertruck, there is, you know, while we don't know the motivation behind New Orleans, I mean, we know it was you know, an American ISIS. We know that, okay, and there may be a ISIS cell because they're looking for other people. But with the Cybertruck, I think it's pretty clear what has happened. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. I'm calling you from France. Listen, I really hope that Donna. I mean, I'm not French, but because of my mother has French. She's sick. I have to live here. Anyway, I'm thinking of. Yes, they are saying that it's MAGA that they did the whole thing.
Did what thing? Wait a minute. Who's saying MAGA did the whole thing? Who?
This awful terrorist attack.
That it's MAGA?
At first, that's what I am. If you want, I wish I could have the visual and post it to you.
So what do you mean in France? In France, they're saying that that MAGA attacked in New Orleans. Why would MAGA do that?
At first, they said it's MAGA. Yes, at first. Now they're changing, and they because of the post. Meanwhile, the post of President Trump that he's saying that illegals, the post that he says, which is obviously true, then they said, oh, you see, he's lying. He is not illegal. He was born in Texas. I mean, excuse me. Did you see his face?
We have had a lot of. There's been a lot of.
Crazy.
There's been a lot of American terrorists. I mean, we talked about there was Nadal Hassan was the Fort Hood terrorist. One of the first was the American Taliban. Jihad Johnny Walker Lynch was from California, and he was fighting with the Taliban in Afghanistan when we invaded. You know, in 2002. So, you know, this is not unusual to have terrorists that have American citizenship. It doesn't mean they're not Islamic terrorists.
Exactly. And what is it's very sad because France had so many Islamic attacks. Bataclan in 2015. I don't know if you remember.
Well, France should know. France should know more than anybody about. You know, France has a history, right? So France should understand more than any country in the world that there are collaborators. All the French collaborators with the Nazis. We have some collaborators too, sadly.
No, the thing is, like in 2015, they came. And they were French citizens. I mean, they were originally I don't know, Algerian or whatever they were. Mm-hmm. But they had French citizens. They came with guns and they killed like more than 300 people in a concert in Bataclan, 2015.
That's right.
But still, yes, but they don't have any sympathy for anyone. They're all bad people.
That's right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. It's good to hear from you. Yeah. All right, you back with us, Kathy?
Yeah, they're just reporting now. Nick Sortor. I just retweeted to you. Just in the Cybertruck that exploded in front of Trump International Las Vegas was rented from Toro.
Yeah, that's what I told you earlier.
There you go.
Yeah,
the Cybertruck.
Oh, the Cybertruck was rented from Toro?
The Cybertruck, yes.
So that's
well
my goodness.
F-115
so both
were also rented from Toro.
So both trucks, the Cybertruck and the truck in New Orleans, both rented from Toro. So there's a connection.
Well, I wonder if you rent from Toro, which I've never even heard of it before.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
When you go to rent a truck, like at Hertz or wherever, they take your license, they take all you have to show identification. If you rent something from Toro, how does that work? Is there any footprint at all? I mean, I'm assuming it's an app, and it's like Lyft or Uber where they know your name and you have an account. Is it easier to rent from these places? Well, both guys are dead, so I don't think they really were concerned about that. But I would imagine
I've never rented. Yeah. I've never rented from Toro. I would never rent from Toro. I mean, I would rent from like the real places, so I know that the car's not going to break. I don't like Airbnbs.
Well, this is not good. This is not good for business for Toro.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But I would imagine before somebody gives you their vehicle, you've got to give some identification and information.
Yeah. Well, we know who they are anyway, but I'm wondering if there's any way to link these guys to somebody else or a larger organization. I know the one guy had the ISIS flag, but this is not a coincidence when you have 2 attacks involving vehicles rented from Turo. That tells me that these were coordinated and planned.
And by the way, for people that don't know, Turo, it's like Airbnb for cars. You can rent out your own private vehicle on the app. You can go on the app.
I never even heard of that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and list your vehicle, and people can rent your vehicle from you directly through the app. It's kind of like Airbnb, but for vehicles. I know, it's very sketchy to me. I've looked over it before, crazy. And it's not. I was going to rent a car to go to Orlando once, and because I wanted to rent a big car, and I went on the Turo app. It's not cheap. It's and they have all kinds of restrictions, like you could only drive the car 175 miles or something like that. They have all these weird restrictions. And it just doesn't seem reliable to me. I wouldn't want to rent a car that might break down on me. It doesn't seem.
I wonder why they chose this app instead of doing Enterprise or something else. I mean, I don't see. You know what I mean? Like if there's something that it's easier, or
it's just like that. It's just like that scummy OnlyFans girl that had sex with like how many 100 guys or something in a day. She didn't do it in a hotel room. She did it at an Airbnb. I guess that's just what people do now is they use these things.
Well, maybe. I mean, an F-150. I don't know if are those like easily rentable, or a Tesla Cybertruck. Do you have to go to Turo to get those kinds of cars? You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's probably less of a process to use the Turo app.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Than to go to Hertz, I would imagine. But remember Tim McVeigh? They are the first World Trade Center bombing. They rented a vehicle. That's how they found out who did it. Remember, so the terrorists, these terrorists regularly rent vehicles. But for to have both of these incidents the same day, all right, because a lot of people are calling the New Orleans event the New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Day. It was early in the morning. It was New Year's Day. So both of these things happened.
What time did that happen?
I'm not exactly sure of the time, but it's a New Year's Day attack. So we've had 2 bizarre terrorist incidents, and now it's being reported. Now you've just seen this on X. We've not confirmed this yet, but it's being reported that, and that could be updated, okay, because this is a developing story. So, things that we're talking about now, we may find out are not accurate 10 minutes from now. But as of right now, it's being reported that the Cybertruck was also rented from the same app. So that's a connection. 3. It happened around 2. I'm a little confused on the time because the time where New Orleans is in Central Time, so it was it was 2 or 3 in the morning, and I don't know if that's Central or Eastern Time, but it was around 2, 3 in the morning is when that happened. So that's New Year's Day.
Well, this is what's scary. This guy is coming out that was in the New Orleans attack. He was a human resource specialist in the United States military.
Yes.
So what do human resource people do?
Fire people. Recruit. Oh,
no,
yeah.
They recruit.
Oh, my goodness.
And so this, you know what I mean? This is a guy who was in charge of recruiting people into our military.
Oh, my goodness.
I'll tag you at X. You can see it right now. They got a video of the guy.
Yeah, I saw the video.
And
I saw the video.
He was a human resource specialist in the military. So that's, they're in charge of recruitment. So who the hell do you think he's going to be recruiting?
Yeah, well, I'll pull it up. This is, I saw this earlier.
Pete Hegseth needs to do like a major investigation into the military and, do like a purge if necessary of all the transgender guys wearing lipstick and these guys.
Yeah, now I'm going to play this. Now, you're not going to be able to hear the audio, Kathy,
okay.
but everybody, you guys watching on YouTube will be able to hear it. This is the video of the New Orleans ISIS guy.
Good evening. I'm Shamsuddin Jabbar, property manager with Blue Metal Properties and team lead at the Midas Group at Core Realty. I just want to say hello and let you know a little bit about me. So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist, where I learned the meaning of great service and what it means to be responsive and take everything seriously, dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that things go off without a hitch. So I've taken those skills and applied them to my career as a real estate agent, where I feel like what really sets me apart from other agents is my ability to be able to, one, be a fierce negotiator. So not only do I brilliantly market your property to make sure it gets sold as quickly as possible or gets leased as quickly as possible, but I'm also going to take every ounce of energy and putting it into negotiating for you and for your property to get the best deal that you can possibly get for it. So once we get to the closing table, all the I's are going to be dotted, all the T's are going to be crossed, everything's going to go off without a hitch, and that is my word that I'm giving to you as your real estate agent. So if that's the type of agent you're looking for, reach out to me. You see my phone number on the page. If not, it's 83.
Okay, we don't need to get. Okay, this is interesting. If you watch the video, this guy from New Orleans, it's being reported this is him. I saw this earlier before we started the stream. He's a charismatic guy. I mean, he's an assertive leader type person. You know what I mean? He's not a follower type person. He's a leader type person, right? I mean, that's at least what I pick up from the video. Like if there's some type of cell, which they're saying there's 5, 6 others they're looking for from the New Orleans incident, I would think that if he's not the leader, he's one of the leaders, just by his personality in his real estate agent video. Oh my goodness.
Well, that's scary that who did he recruit? Who did he bring in?
Mm-hmm. And, it's not unusual. Well, we already know more about this guy than we know about the Trump shooters, both of them, right? I mean, look at all the stuff we're learning. We know look at all we know about these vehicles already in New Orleans and Vegas. We know nothing about the car that the Florida golf course Trump shooter was in or anything else. It's amazing how much information, when they want to share it, that they share.
Yeah, we live in Florida, and DeSantis was supposed to investigate that and be on top of that. He isn't doing anything about it. We haven't heard anything about that guy. It's like he's disappeared.
Yeah. No, it's true.
MIA. We know nothing on that guy.
He's had some hearings in front of Judge Cannon, who was the federal judge in the documents case here in Florida, the one Trump appointed. That's the judge that's handling that trial. But there's a hearing every once in a while.
No information has come out about him, any connections, how, anything on that case.
No. This is really frightening, Kathy. This what just happened today, and I'll tell you why it's it's frightening is, well, obviously because there's loss of life, it's terrorism, it's unknown. You know, we've got two incidents that have this connect. If this story that now again, we don't have confirmation on this, but it's been reported that both vehicles were rented from the same app, which is a connection. And you know, we have two incidents, and we really don't have any motivation. There's a
well, we will find out if the guy with the Cybertruck is a veteran. Maybe he knew this guy. Maybe he was in the military under him. Maybe he recruited. Who knows? We'll find out if this guy that was in the Cybertruck served in the military and was, you know, that'll say a lot right there. Well, it'll come out. Believe me, it'll come out.
When, you know, like when 9/11 was frightening, obviously, those of you that remember 9/11. And the thing about 9/11 that was incredibly frightening about it is when these things are going on, you don't know what else they have planned. You don't know when it's over.
Right.
And, you know, they grounded we knew they did it through planes, and the planes were grounded, and that helped a little bit, but you still didn't know. And it was days before we could say, okay, it's over. You have two incidents that obviously have a connection. There of some, even if the ride app thing, the rental app isn't true, which we don't know. Even if that part's not true, there's too many similarities to be coincidental. We don't know what the motivation was. On 9/11, we knew what the motivation was. That right away they told it was bin Laden. You know, they had attacked the towers before. We knew what was going on there. This, we don't really know what the motivation is. Could it be, you know, the war with Israel and Gaza? We don't know. And when you don't know, that means you don't know really what's behind it and when it's going to stop. So that's what makes it really frightening right now. I got to tell you, this is, you know, when we've had like the Boston bombing and Fort Hood, those were isolated events. Now we've got two incidents in different parts of the country on the same day that are connected in different parts of completely different parts of the country. You know, and on 9/11, it was in different states. I mean, we had New York, D.C., and Pennsylvania, but Pennsylvania was supposed to be D.C. So we had multiple cities, but we knew the connection right away. This, different cities, different parts of the country, different states.
Yeah.
A connection. We know there's something connecting this, but we don't know what the motivation was about. So we don't know. Is it over? I hope it is, but we just don't know.
I think so for now, because hopefully.
Well, I'm hoping when I wake up in the morning to do my show prep for the radio tomorrow that we know a lot more than we know now. You know, we know a lot more, and you know that's the way it is. I mean, this is just some scary stuff.
This is why people go to X for news and not their television, because if you're on X, not only do you get what's happening, you get the actual video, the original source of what's happening.
Yes.
And things are being reported so quickly, the news just can't compete. And then when the news comes out with it, they have to put their spin on it. They have to have their people on it talking about it to tell you how to think and this and that, and they edit things. And you know, it's not like just, you know, it's different. It's, you know, you're getting the news. I just think that the TV news is going to be obsolete within 5 years. I really do. I just think they're in trouble.
You know, when 9/11 happened, the news was on top of everything, and not just they're based in New York, so they could just go down the street and cover it. But they were also in D.C. They were in Pennsylvania. We were getting reporters out on the streets telling us lots of information, talking to people. And what I've been watching today is just state-controlled messaging. There's been the television news. They're not doing their job, and it's too slow. They're not giving us enough information. It's too slow. They're not asking the right people.
It is a holiday. A lot of people that would normally be there. You know, they got the third stringers. Not to say anything against them, but they might not have a full staff. A lot of people are on vacation right now. That could be part of it too.
Yeah. They could call people in. I'm working today. They could call people in to get involved. And another thing you got to wonder is this happening because they think in 19 days when Trump's back, they don't think they'll be able to get away with this? Because the country's weak right now with this senile old coot, Joe Biden?
I don't know. The inauguration cannot happen soon enough.
Oh,
and
my
I wanted
goodness.
to say Benny Johnson reported that Trump is having a celebratory event in D.C. on the 19th of January to celebrate the inauguration at like the Capitol Center.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar with that area, but he's having another rally to celebrate the inauguration. Benny Johnson just said that, so that'll be something to look forward to.
Yeah, we need Trump back yesterday.
We need him back in. I hope nothing, things don't keep happening. We need him in office now, him and Pete. We need this stuff to be taken care of. It's scary.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we're going to sign off here for now. But if something major happens, I will be back here on YouTube. But if not, I will be live tomorrow morning on the radio. I was live this morning on the radio, but I will be live with Steve Kane tomorrow morning on the radio covering all the latest developments. If you're new, subscribe. My name's Brian. And this is where MAGA comes to talk, all right? So make sure you subscribe. If you're already subscribed, make sure you like the video if you don't mind, all right? Thanks. And I think, is this your first time getting to talk to the audience over the phone, Kathy? Maybe we'll do this more often.
Yeah, I think so. How'd I do?
Better than I did my first time talking to the audience, I'll tell you that. Oh, my goodness. No, you did great. You did great. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we will talk to you next time.